Some artists define a genre. Others, they manage to define an entire era. But then, every once in a while, you get someone who defines what it even means to be an icon. Today, we're diving into the story of one of those legends, the one and only Tina Turner. I mean, think about it. From the very first note, you just knew it was her. That powerful, kind of raspy, soulful voice, it's completely unmistakable. It became the soundtrack for millions of lives, a true force of nature behind some of the most iconic songs ever recorded. But honestly, her music was only half the story. Her life was an absolute masterclass in resilience, a journey from unbelievable hardship to a triumph that inspired the entire world. So yeah, let's get into it. People called her a lot of things, but one title stands way above all the others. And this was a title she wasn't just given. No way. It's one she earned through decades of sheer talent and just electrifying energy. When she passed away, this is how the world remembered her. And it's not just some cool nickname. It's a statement of fact, because she did something nobody else could. She blended the raw power of rock with the deep, deep feeling of soul. It was a sound all her own. So how in the world does someone become an icon like that? Well, believe it or not, the story doesn't start under big stage lights. It starts in rural Tennessee with a young girl who had a massive voice and a really, really tough start in life. Her name was Anna Mae Bullock, and life in Nutbush, Tennessee, well, it was not easy. Her parents' marriage was troubled, which meant her childhood was full of instability. But it was in the church choir where the very first hints of that legendary voice started to break through. Her whole life changed when she met a bandleader named Ike Turner. After joining his band, she first performed as Little Ann. But Ike, he saw her raw talent, this incredible star power. So in 1960, he gave her the name Tina Turner, and he trademarked it, which gave him control, but it also created the persona that was about to take over the entire world. And wow, did that new name bring success? The Ike and Tina Turner Revue was an absolute powerhouse. Their live shows were the stuff of legend, just a whirlwind of energy, and they churned out a string of unforgettable hits. We're talking A Fool in Love, the epic River Deep Mountain High, and of course, that explosive cover of Proud Mary. And this right here, this really gets to the heartbreaking truth of her life back then. On one side, you have the massive public success, hit songs, global fame, these unbelievable performances. And on the other side, a private nightmare of horrific abuse and control. The star the world absolutely adored was, behind the scenes, literally fighting for her life. And that fight, it led to one of the bravest moments you'll ever hear about in music history. This wasn't just a breakup, it was an escape. It was a declaration of independence that would redefine her entire life. It was 1976. After one last violent fight, she finally made the decision to leave. And I mean, she literally ran for her life, dashing across a busy highway to find safety in a motel, with absolutely nothing but the clothes on her back. Now get this, in the divorce, she made a stunning choice. She asked for nothing. No money, no property, no rights to any of the music they'd made together. She only wanted one thing, her name. She knew Tina Turner was the only asset she had left, and it was the foundation she was going to use to rebuild everything from scratch. What happened next wasn't easy. It was a real struggle, but it set the stage for what many people call the single greatest comeback in the history of music. This is where Tina Turner, the solo icon, was truly born. For years, she was playing small clubs, she was deep in debt, just trying to find her footing. Then, in 1984, this album dropped. Private Dancer didn't just relaunch her career, it was like a cultural earthquake that completely redefined what a comeback could even look like. And the result was just insane. Let this first number sink in for a second. Over 20 million copies sold worldwide. This wasn't just a comeback, it was a global coronation. She went from struggling to becoming one of the biggest stars on the planet, all on her own terms. And of course, the engine behind all that success was this massive single, What's Love Got to Do With It? It became her anthem, and as you can see, it shot straight to #1 all across the globe. And you know what? The industry finally had to recognize her triumph. The album just swept the Grammys, and she took home the biggest award of them all, Record of the Year. Her victory was absolute. So the comeback was complete. But her story? Oh, it was far from over. What she built in the decades after that cemented a legacy that goes so much deeper than just music. She truly became, like her song says, simply the best. Okay, this timeline really puts her career into perspective. Just look at this, from her debut back in the late 50s to the hits in the 70s, that mind-blowing 80s comeback, all the way to her final world tour in 2009 and getting into the Hall of Fame as a solo artist in 2021. This isn't just a long career, this is 5 decades of constant reinvention and staying relevant. And if you want to talk about the final numbers, they're staggering. Over 100 million records sold worldwide, 12 Grammy Awards. I mean, those figures alone put her in the most elite class of musical artists in history, period. And after all of that, after retiring from touring, she really did find the peace that she had been missing for so long. She became a Swiss citizen and lived a quiet, happy life with her husband, Erwin Bach, finally able to just enjoy the fruits of her incredible, incredible journey. So in the end, when we remember Tina Turner, yeah, of course we remember the voice, the legs, the unstoppable energy, but her true legacy is that of a survivor, a woman who walked through absolute fire and came out the other side not just okay, but more powerful than ever. She became a global symbol of resilience. And that kind of leaves us with a final thought, inspired by her most famous song, right? What does it really mean to become the best? For Tina Turner, it was never just about selling records. It was about overcoming the impossible, surviving the unthinkable, and taking back her life and her name. It was about turning pain into pure power. And that is a legacy that will rock on forever.